It's talking about in 2022, the Chinese Communist Party is leading the Chinese citizen going through the 200 struggling, striving, struggling for the goal, goal. The second 100. That goal is to reach to the goal. Innovation, innovative. And for that path, for that goal, innovations bring the very strong motive and energy to that path of the ultimate goal. The 100 years around, the Chinese Communist Party has been leading our Chinese citizen to struggle, to strive, and to clear a lot of difficulties, to tackle a lot of difficulties. And to push our country full-fledged and thoroughly for innovation. And especially in the scientific field and technology field, and leading to the world's top ranking. It's facing financial economy and also facing the people's health. It's leading the world's Chinese development very strong foundation because of the innovation. So today, we are living in the era of the information technology, all about information. Besides the normal use cell phone, computer, and fridge, traffic light, all the information also needs chips, needs CPU to support them. So CPU is and the chips are the core of those information technology industry. Is to lead the new era of the high technology revolution and industrial revolution key power. Breakthrough. Everyday walk from home to work, 2.2 km, 35 minutes around from home to work. He is asking about the testing the main board. Yeah, he's Hu Weiwu, the Chinese Loongson head, chairman, and scientific, and researcher, and specialist. He's asking about his colleagues about the power consumption of those bot, whether it's a big consumption. And his name is Hu Weiwu.
他叫胡伟武，龙芯中科技术股份有限公司。
Loongson, technology shareholder. I mean the share listed company, the chairman, the director.
董事长，中科院计算。
The Chinese scientific and technology, scientific and information technology research centers researcher.
技术研究所研究员，龙芯 CPU.
And the Loongson CPU's the first head, the main scientist.
首席科学家。作为总设计师，他成。
And he is also the main designer of the CPU.
研制我国第一款自主研发的32位通用。
He invented the 32-bit general CPU of Loongson the first.
CPU 龙芯1号，打破了英特尔等国外厂商在中国市场。
And because of that, he broke the record of the Intel, those foreign companies in the Chinese market, monopoly in China. He broke it. Also ended the Chinese people only relied on the imported CPUs. This history. In 2021, also we about his story. It's talking about 6 months in June. He said 3 plus 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 plus 3. The first 3 plus 3, the first two of the 3 plus 3 did well. And also the compatibility is also good and very self-made. He wears a glass and wear the very normal t-shirt and the right hair, full of right hair, and a very good manner people. That is the researcher, and which reflects his image is very very casual and carefree. But besides this kind of image, and no matter this image or that kind of image seems to be normal, but is hidden a great passion of researching and pursuing the scientific research and to pursue the best of the result, to pursue the peak of and the best result of the scientific research. Is saying that what the user wants, we then make what user wants. And then right after that, when they are using, we will optimize the usage from the users. In 2021, and Huawei would that time let his team to invent and develop the new era, the new generation CPU 3A5000. It's being processed. And the CPU, the power and the capability has reached to that market's mainstream product. And the ecosystem with these Loongson CPUs we will also have the very initial and the first I mean that we'll have also the first initiatives beginning of using the kind of ecosystem. And today, between the last times reported team already half year passed. And the 3A5000, how about the progression? Is that the CPU is like a wave develop. It's from quantity to quality. And the 3A5000 under production is it means that we have the new ecosystem establishment, and also it's the foundation of the new ecosystem establishments. And also the half year of this year, we will also release the 3C5000. It's the 16 cores CPU. It's equal to 16 people together work together. So that CPU is bigger. That CPU is bigger than this 3A5000 because it's many people working together. This is only 4 people, so 4 cores vs the 16 cores, so that's bigger. And that server using the 4 times 16 core CPUs, that they use a 4 16 3C5000 chips. And to construct a single unit. This is equal to 64 cores server. So the performance is around the mainstream markets is similar. For example, Intel, etc. is around the same level. Also is can be okay and pass. It can be passed for the 60 marks, right? Because reaching to the Intel's level. And he said while he is doing the Loongson, at that time there are 5 or 6 companies which find him, especially those foreign monopolies companies found Loongson and found him.
垄断企业做芯片的
Talking about the
中
CPU.
国巢穴都来找。
And also the OS operation systems company also actively to find Hu Weiwu.
找我的目的就是
the goal and the purpose of finding him is what is only one.
希望我用他们
Is to hope Hu Weiwu to use their technologies
技术不用自己做，
and to tell Hu Weiwu to give up, not to do it by themselves.
要用钱的事情。
And in 2010, that time,
那么现在我们如果坦率的说，就是说当时他
he is saying that if now thinking back to 2010, at that time there are companies, there are foreign monopolies companies use the very low end one. It's like the grade 3, the very poor and the outdated one to sell to him.
把三流的东西给我，也比我一流的好。
Also better than that time in 2010, that time the Loongson, the first upper class one, the main one, the best one. So he is saying that that time even the poor, the very low end level sell to Loongson in 2010, also better than the first number one Loongson CPU that time. So the differences were very far away.
有很大的诱惑的这些东西。
So that's a very there were so many attractions and those good things. So they are good to go, ready to use, to buy others.
就是其实他们说的就是四个字：交枪不杀。
And he all rejected. He maintained his view and goal to make CPU by homemade, self-made, not to buy the CPU. All rejected all the companies' offer.
利欲的诱惑
So many attractions to attract him,
并没有动摇他。
which doesn't really turn him on
过去、现在和
in the past, now, and the future. Also, he doesn't care about the temptation. And he will also reject all the other companies to sell him the ready-to-use CPU, even the performance is better.
将来行走的路，这是一条认定了就没有后悔过的路。
So this is the road and path when he admits to go through this road and never feel regretful, never regret.
这条路它只有一个目标，
And this road only one goal and only one purpose, only one dream, one goal, which is the to make CPU by himself, self-made, self-invention, self-development.
是自主研发。就是其实你用了他的东西，你
Is that if you have their own products ready to go, and then your own self-research power and ability then will disappear.
的自己的研发能力就没了。你的研发能力必须从自
And your ability of research have to practice by yourself and self-made so that you can develop well. Otherwise, it will be a failure.
按照实践才能形成。我们当时都回绝了。
So he said, all rejected all the foreign companies' offer about selling him the best CPU. I mean, not the best. I mean the grade 3 or the low-end CPU to him. But that time is no end is already better than the Loongson CPU, the best CPU.
你要能合作，都不要就要自己做。
All reject is that only make CPU by themselves and no joint venture and cooperation.
给我来个这个，我电脑哈。
Talking about the rice or something, having lunch in the cafeteria, the canteen. He said he's about 50 years around, 50 years age, 50 years old around. He feel after 50 years, he cannot eat too much, especially he cannot eat rice too much. Much lesser.
所以以前讲这个连我老也上能饭否这是黑。
And I miss that. Also, the previous ancestor also said that saying, and he also thinking that it's very meaningful and very. He agrees with it very much.
就饭量明显变小，然后也不喜欢。
Also doesn't like to eat meat. And the reporter asked him what time he will retire or not to do. And to strive and to struggle to when. He said there are 2 timing points. The first one is to make more 10 years, so that we can have to build the third ecosystem. And the first system, thinking normally and foundationally, and basically it will be established. So the ecosystem is besides Intel, AMD, besides the Windows Intel, and besides the Android and ARM. So we got the Loongson and Loongson and using Loongson CPU and Loongson architecture OS, right? So that will be the third ecosystem. And then it's enough around. And the second point is maybe around the 50 years. We need to make our country's next target, next mission. And is to make the Loongson with Intel and AMD or ARM and Android. And besides AA and Wintel, Android and ARM and Windows and Intel, and the third one is the Loongson and Loongson, and then there will be around finish, and I will retire like this. $10 years or 15 years or longer, even longer. Because there might be a new targets and missions to achieve. A new breakthrough. A new difficulties have to be breakthrough. And besides the behind the time, and he expects the very high for the Chinese CPU's expectation. He said we for the future coming years to the 14th of the 5 years plan, because of the 14 of 5 years plan because Chinese Communist Party every 5 years has a target and grow. So he's saying the 14 of the 5 years stage. For every 5 years they will have plan or innovation. So the 14 of the next 5 years plan. He hopes can finish the 3 changes. The first one is from the technology complement. So it's those technology to improve the technology and to improve and to make the CPU performance better, faster. From that to change to development of the ecosystem. The second change is from the political market and to stipulated market, to specific market, to open market, to full open market changes. That's the second. And the third changes is to follow the main development ecosystem, to follow others system, to follow other ecosystem and software or the environment, to self-made development and to make it very free. It's just like a freedom countries changes. So now they are relying on Android or x86 Windows ecosystem using binary translation to translate to Loongson. So the Loongson can run the x86 and ARM and Android applications. He wants to make it to change to he's having the his own ecosystem, so that it will be free for him. The system will be free, the ecosystem will be free, other people will follow our ecosystem. So from the technologies and the performance and the complexity, now they have been doing it well and to the self-made ecosystem. Our Chinese people's technologies leads to the self-made and need to establish by ourselves and need to continuously to tackle the problem of sanctions, because United States and other Western countries, the Western world have been doing a lot of sanctions and block all the import, block all the output, block all the export, the technology and high-end technologies like the DUV and EUV, those machine the mass alignment machine. So many technologies the West and the United States will block and won't export to China, so China cannot import those technologies. So we need to tackle it and we need to self-make our things. In 2022, this is we already start to see the sun is coming up. So we are having our ecosystem and the performance of our CPU is reaching to the Intel's AMD's passing level. So reaching to the mainstream level. So that's it.
一缕阳光刺破云层，带来
Coming
霞
up.
光万丈，看山河无恙。
And we have hope for the future, and see our mountains like we have hope, and river, mountain. Now everything is fine.
行骗出
And chips, breakfast, and self-made.
为自立，小鸡破壳新生，
And the chicken, small chickens, born, was born.
疫苗供应取
Vaccine provides all over the world.
全球，创新
Innovation leads development.
引领发展。5年一始，
The year of tiger will start soon.
有新
Then we will have the new environment, the new atmosphere. And the people greet you to have the new year, the new year of tiger year, prosperous and happy, and Olympics of the Winter Olympics successfully, happy together, right? Okay, thank you.